So today, lads, I want to talk about something that I kind of noticed. I say I kind of noticed myself. No, I saw this right here from this page about. I saw this tweet, so I'm going to talk a little bit about it here. But if you guys didn't see, obviously Natasha Howard is there. Her wife or partner. I'm not sure if she's married, but obviously Caitlin Clark, Connor, and Connor McCaffrey making sure that he's walking behind Caitlin Clark because they're there to see Caitlin. And then there's Ari McDonald and her boyfriend, I'm guessing. I don't know. I have no idea who that is. But yeah, so what I'm going to be talking really about is when it comes to, like, especially when it comes to Natasha Howard and the kind of people around Natasha Howard is if you guys don't remember the reason why Natasha Howard went to the Indiana Fever, and this is what the Natasha, a lot of people are like, oh, X, Y, and Z player, what happened with them is the reason why players will or won't go to the Fever. I think it's really, really, really clear that Natasha Howard is the most prime example of this is why people are going to want to play for the Fever. Because Natasha Howard went to the Fever and she said it. She went there for recognition. I think basketball-wise, Natasha Howard has had one of her worst seasons in a long time. But she's been a veteran leader, really for the first time, like a proper veteran leader on a team. For the first time in a long time. She's had to deal with a lot of adversity. And there definitely has not been a fan base because, yeah, she was on Seattle Storm teams for a couple of years. But she was kind of a player who jumped between a lot of franchises. Like, Wings fans are barely Wings barely have any fans. Then she played for the pre-Stewie Liberty, who weren't like the James Dolan Liberty. They don't really count. And then before that, she was with the Storm. Fair enough, like, she was there in the wobble. She barely played with the Minnesota Lynx. And this was the season where everybody knows who Natasha Howard is. Like, every single person, every single casual fan knows who Natasha Howard is. Like, I think she sells like merch on her own website. They're probably 100x in sales. She won a Commissioner's Cup MVP. And like, no matter what happens now, you can, like, Natasha Howard will leave Indiana, not necessarily like as an Indiana legend, but fondly remembered by the Fever and by Fever fans, which is the majority of WNBA fans. She will be very fondly remembered. Like, she might never have to buy another drink again in her life if anywhere in Indiana. And that's one of the things if you go to the Fever, it's not even about playing well or not playing well. Because even like Nalissa Smith did not play well last season, especially towards the end, especially in big games. Actually, no, she played one really good game when we beat the Sun in the regular season, but he was terrible in the playoffs. Fever fans, you can see the reception that Nalissa Smith gets in Indiana, the reception Erica Wheeler gets in Indiana for being there. The reception that if Natasha Howard, like, realistically, if Natasha Howard is back to the Fever, she's coming off the bench. If she wants to start, she's going to go somewhere else. Or if she wants a max contract, she's going somewhere else. So that's probably what's going to happen. It's all going to come down to what role she wants. And if she goes somewhere else, she'll get a damn standing ovation when she checks into the game. She'll be having to sign autographs for Fever fan for hours. And a lot of people are like, oh, it's about whether players play well or not. It's not even that. And like, that's one of the things in sports. Like, if you know any player is giving their all for your team, the fans will be positive. And in an equal way, when you know a player is not giving their all in a DeWanna Bonner situation, in a situation where, I don't even know, can we nickname DeWanna Bonner Big Tamper right now? Like, I don't know. She just don't want to play basketball for the Fever anymore. But she kind of gave up and quit. And I don't think the reception will be nearly as bad if it turns out, if DeWanna Bonner requested a trade behind the scenes, said she was only going to go to the Phoenix Mercury, and the Indiana Fever got a second round pick in 2026, Kit Laxa, and whatever rookie was needed to make up salary, was needed to clear salary so they could get DeWanna Bonner. They could have done that. They could have gotten two players. Like they could have gotten Lax or somebody who they could have used, or a Lexi Held or something. Someone that they could have used. And a second round pick. And then like Musa, who they would have just cut immediately, who was on a minimum non-guaranteed deal. So they could have just waived her immediately. So they could have done something like that. And if that had happened, everyone's like, oh, you know what? It just didn't work out for DeWanna Bonner. We got some assets back. We can do what we want. We can push. We can push on. Not, oh, I'm leaving for personal reasons. She had people praying for her. Everyone being like, oh, hopefully it's okay. Hopefully it's all okay. And it turned out she just didn't want to play basketball for them anymore. Like, it was that simple. And then she got caught in an entire tampering thing. Like, that is why DeWanna Bonner's hated. Like, the only player over the last 2 seasons that has played for the Indiana Fever that's hated by the Fever fans is DeWanna Bonner. Like, even Christy Wallace, if Christy Wallace comes back. By the way, she's under contract. If Wallace ever wants to come back, we have to take her back. She is on a protected contract. It does not matter. If Christy Wallace ever wants to play in the WNBA again, we have to take her back. But like, people don't hate Christy Wallace. Again, it's not kind of the same as like, you know, Wheeler and stuff. She was just not good and was supremely... I think the problem with Wallace was that she was supremely overrated by size and she was terrible. But yeah, it's an interesting one because obviously, look, Natasha Howard's wife or partner was a known Caitlin Clark hater. She was a absolutely known Caitlin Clark hater, a public Caitlin Clark hater. She was a public Fever fan hater on Twitter. And that was basically after the first time Natasha Howard had a horrible game. And let's be real, it took, one game? Like, fans are going to love you or hate you based on how you play. And Natasha Howard's not been great for a lot of this year. And people always criticize her play. But as the year goes on, like, Natasha Howard as a person, you can see how the teammates interact with her. You see how she is in press conferences. That is what's kind of remembered. And that's what's remembered. What fans remember as much as anything, unless you are the star player, which I think she did come to be a star. I think she came to try to be MVP. She was never going to do that. They remember moments, they remember effort, and they remember if you were sound or if you were a nice person. That's all they remember. That's realistically what most fans remember. If they liked you as a person, if you gave them good positive memories, and if you tried your hardest. And yes, as frustrating as Natasha Howard was with how much she got in the way, her inability to play with Caitlin for a long period, for a lot of time, how much she got in the way of players, her insistence on shooting the 3 ball for some reason. Like, all of that will be forgotten and people only remember the positives. So Natasha Howard, you're always, I'm not going to say, oh, she's going to be a legend in Indiana, but you will always be fondly remembered in Indiana. And I just saw this post being like, oh, you know, Natasha Howard's wife is more, is definitely more positive towards Caitlin. But it's like, you could see when Natasha Howard came, when she was talking about the interview, she was like, I made the decision for myself. It's like basically she didn't listen to what anyone else was saying, but she made the decision for herself. And I think if you asked Natasha Howard if she could have a do-over, would she join the Fever? I think her answer is 1,000,000% yes. I think it's 1,000,000% yes. Like, she was a starter and a 17-point per game scorer on a 4th seed who got to the semi-final 2 years ago. If you ask me what season is she more proud of, I would assume it's this season. If you ask me what season is her value, because I think she's gone playing in China. So like she's gonna play in China. That's where you make the money. Like, people don't realize that. Like, she played in Mersin last year. She probably was on maybe 400 or 500 a year, and that's max. I don't. Was she the highest paid player? I don't even know what they're paying in Mersin. I know in Fenerbahce they're paying good money. Maybe 300K a year, which is still crazy money. But she's on easily that in China. She's going to be on massive money in China to play for a few months of the year. But anyway, yeah, that is a video. Just something I want to talk about. Anyway, I'll see you guys.